The Tennessee eviction notice. What is an eviction notice? Eviction notice, or notice to quit, is a letter sent by the landlord to the tenant notifying them that they should either take or stop a certain action or vacate the rented premises. Eviction notice can be of two types: conditional, when a tenant is given time to remedy the breach of the lease, or unconditional, when a landlord terminates the lease without any alternative options for a tenant. What should an eviction notice include? Information about the tenant and the landlord. The reason for sending the notice. The date by which the tenant should take or stop a certain action. The consequences of non-compliance. The date and way of notice delivery, and the landlord's signature in the form of certificate of service attached to the notice. How to evict a tenant in Tennessee. Non-payment notice. The Tennessee's laws set a 5-day grace period for tenants failing to pay rent due. If they fail to pay rent within this period and the landlord is about to start an eviction proceeding, a 14-day notice to pay or quit should be sent to the tenant. Non-compliance notice. The Tennessee law lets landlords send the notice to tenants who breach the lease terms in case the damage can be corrected. In such a case, the notice to pay should give the tenant 14 days to cover damages or repairs. In case the tenant breaches health, building, safety, or housing code, a 3-day notice to quit should be sent to them. The same applies to cases of illegal activity committed by the tenant. What if the tenant fails to comply? If the tenant fails to comply with the rules of lease, the landlord might file a complaint with the Tennessee District or Magistrate Court. The filing fee depends on the county. Then the tenant should get the summons and the complaint prior to the hearing by a person authorized by Tennessee law. The law also requires the authorized person to post or mail the document 6 days prior to the hearing. In order to contest the eviction hearing, the tenant has to appear for it. The tenant's failure to contest the eviction in the court might result in a judgment in favor of the landlord by default. If the landlord wins the case, the tenant will have to move out according to the writ of possession issued by the court. The Tennessee law does not specify the period during which the tenant has to leave the rental property, which is why the tenant should be prepared to move out immediately.